Nearly twice a month, AYOUB ISMAIL comes to this library in the town of Halfa. He says the pictures remind him of the few memories he has of the old town in the far north of Sudan, a town that disappeared nearly half a century ago when he was 7 years old.
I
remember the village I was born in and the period of displacement from Old Halfa. I was around 7 years old. It was one of the most beautiful places in the country. It had many villages, many palm trees, and it had the Nile nearby, which everything in the town revolved around.
The Nile submerged the old town in 1964 during the filling of the reservoir for Egypt's Aswan High Dam. Old Halfa had more than 24 villages, most of which had been there for centuries. In the mid-20th century, it had an estimated population of 60,000 people, most who identified themselves as Nubians. Halfa is also regarded by some historians as the cradle of Nubian civilization that dates back to 7000 BC. It was also where many other historical Sudanese kingdoms stemmed from, including the kingdoms of Kush, Nubia, and Marawi. Nubia covers parts of modern-day Egypt and stretches to Sudan's capital Khartoum, an area that's now dotted with historical sites of the civilization. This part of the lake behind me covers one of the 27 villages that were submerged as a result of the filling of the reservoir of Egypt's High Dam. Most of the residents of those villages have been moved to the east of the country, and most of the artifacts of the Nubian heritage have been moved to museums. But elders say the essence of the Nubian culture was destroyed with the flooding of the old Halfa. The lake became known as Nubia in Sudan, where 20% of the Aswan Dam's reservoir is. Archaeologists say the extent of the loss of artifacts in Old Halfa was not known when the filling of the reservoir started.
The area had traces of all the historical periods, from the Stone Age to the eras of various Nubian kingdoms to the eras of religious invasions. All those periods had left traces in Halfa, and that's mostly lost with the flooding of the old town.
Nubian elders also say their language and culture are slowly fading away. Some elders teach the younger generation the history through song and dance in the hopes of keeping the Nubian culture alive.
The younger generation have to learn everything about the Nubian culture, such as the clothes, the language, the songs and dances. So much has been lost half a century ago with the floods. We have to preserve what little's left.
AYOUB now writes books on Halfa and the town that no longer is. He says he hopes the day comes when pictures of the old town are displayed in national museums for all to know of the Nubian culture. Hiba, Al Jazeera, Wadi Halfa, Sudan.